Hello and welcome to another episode of That Naturopathic Podcast. It's Dr. David Miller here, naturopathic doctor, doing a solo episode. Lots going on in my life right now, so sorry for the decreased output. I got a new little boy, Malcolm James Isaac Miller, in the world, and he is taking up lots more of my time than I even expected. Anyways, I'm so happy to have my little guy with me, and so proud of him already. But anyways, let's get to today's podcast. I just want to do a short one, sort of inspired by something at the clinic this week. And the whole idea of it is that I want people to understand, I want patients to understand, you're not crazy. You know, when you say, and maybe you're doesn't validate it, or it seems like you're being told that there's nothing wrong with you. You go through the oral tests and everything says you're fine, and you're not. You know what you feel like. You're not crazy. That's what I'm coming to. I used to think maybe more people were crazy. Maybe people were making shit up. I don't know. But now that I've better at what I do and see more patterns and understand the body better, thanks to the osteopathic hands-on palpation perspective that allows me a different and deeper understanding of symptoms. I want to tell you, it's not all in your head. Okay, so just says don't understand your symptoms doesn't mean that they're nonsensical or all in your head. Many symptoms are simply just signals from the body. And if we don't understand those signals, then sometimes that will be dismissed as if it's nothing or whatever. But it's not nothing. Like I said, I do think, I used to think some people made stuff up. Maybe they're like hypochondriac or something like that. But there's a big assumption with this problem when doctors or naturopaths or whoever says, we don't know what's wrong with you. The assumption is that your doctor or whoever single symptom or signal. And let me tell you, I am obsessed with getting better at what I do. I don't think I'll ever get there where I understand every single symptom and every single signal and all that from the body. A signal of dysfunction can look very different from many different perspectives. The more I understand the different patterns, okay, the more I understand that, okay, I see some more, but I also understand that we don't know everything. That's sort of like that wisdom paradox. When you feel you're getting to know something a little bit more, a little bit deeper, you really start to realize, oh my God, we don't know anything, right? We only know what we know. We only know what perspective we've been trained to see. I tried to talk about this in another podcast episode, macro and micro perspective. And maybe not one of my top podcasts in terms of, favorites, but the idea was there. It's that, some people focus on more the biochemistry of the body, like what I say is the micro perspective. Some people focus more on the macro perspective, but maybe only the MSK, musculoskeletal issues. Chiropractor is going to see everything as back pain. It's just, related to, not, again, as an example, this doesn't mean every chiropractor, this doesn't mean every physio or every naturopath, but if we're heavily focused on perspective, then if we don't see it in that way or it doesn't fit that perspective, then we just kind of throw our hands up and go, what's up? It's either nothing or it just doesn't fit the way I've learned things. So why am I saying this? Your symptoms are not bullshit. Your symptoms are not meaningless. You are not making shit up. Okay. And like I said, when I was younger, we used to think maybe it's more in their head. And then that brings up that idea of separation, this kind of made up separation between mental health from health in general. It's ridiculous. And it actually goes against the meaning of the word heal, which means to make whole. Your symptoms can be more on the mental plane. That's just where you see them, where you experience them, or where we observe. I believe he's a neurologist, medical doctor, really cool guy. Mental health symptoms are very dependent. It's not like some obscure, unrelated phenomenon to the body, to the brain, your overall health. That's the danger I feel of this focus on mental health that we've gotten we are making up another separation, which, Western medicine is all about separation and boxes. And actually the Western mindset is often about separation mindset, and boxes to put things in, and not understanding the whole beautiful orchestra of what's going on. Um, when I tell patients this, when someone speaks Arabic and I have no bloody idea what they're saying, it doesn't mean it's gibberish and nonsense. It means I don't understand friggin' Arabic. Okay. So it behooves us as the practitioner, the naturopath, or whomever, to keep getting good at understanding different perspectives, be obsessed with getting better, and understand the limitations of your bias, and perhaps, other ways of perceiving, of listening, of hearing things. I think that would go a long way to, you as a patient, your satisfaction as a patient, knowing that someone's been hurt. I just don't know Arabic. Doesn't mean it's crap, right? It's just, you got to learn different languages of the body. And so I'll just sort of tell you about a story. Yesterday, I had a patient come in complaining of some stress, some anxiety. Really stoic, type A guy, really solid guy. He's got an A game when it comes to like fitness, and his nutrition is great. And he came in because he thinks there's something wrong. He got up, he got dizzy, he got that sort of like woozy sort of standing, and he thinks things wrong. What? Maybe it's blood sugar, maybe it's his heart, whatever. It sort of grows. He grows in anxiety because he is perceiving something's wrong. He is right, but what is wrong? So we go to the hospital. He went to the ER, I believe, 2 times. So multiple trips to the emergency room, and given the whole sort of rigmarole with testing. He had, I believe, at least one EKG, or ECG, however you want to spell your acronym. Anyway, full workup. A doctor did what sounded like a really good and thorough physical exam, neurological exam, and 11 hours later, he's out of the ER. But they're telling you. So we go from this. Let's look for some impending doom disaster of a heart attack or something like that. You've got something crazy wrong with your, a critical organ. And he's not, and this may be the same thing with you. It's clear he's not dying. Also clear, if you're him and if you're able to understand symptoms, he's not fine. He's not perfect. There's something going on. Okay. So what did we do? Again, I only saw him, I think it was yesterday or the day before. We did some work on his abdomen. He had a crazy epigastric pulse. The pulsations were actually visible. You could look at his epigastric area. So that's between his sternum and the umbilical. It was just pulsing and throbbing. You could, there's a strong sort of pulsation. Okay, and he's also said one of the symptoms he has is sort of this flickering or sort of quivering kind of sensation underneath his sternum, which seems to start lower and comes up through his sternum up to maybe like the base of the throat. And so I listened to that, and I know a thing or two about the gut. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe there's something gut related there, and there's a lot of anatomy related to that area. So I just did my osteopathic listening, put my hands on, and I'm drawn to an area just to the right of where the sternum is. I did some imperfect work. I'm sure it was not the most perfect assessment and treatment. But what happened is he had multiple deep breaths happen. He felt very calm after our treatment, and there was no epigastric pulsations and throbbing going on. And what I had done was a body-based anatomical structural approach to what he was experiencing. And I followed symptoms, right? No lab tests, nothing crazy. We just listened to him, and we followed, those perspectives that I have tried to learn from the osteopathic profession. Lo and behold, we get somewhere. Now, did the work or omentum and substernal area, epigastric area, is that is that going to be curative? Is he never going to experience this again? I don't know. There's a lot of anatomy that most practitioners don't know. For example, there that hold the lungs in place, and they can lead to neck pain. There's ligaments that attach to the front of the heart, from the front of the heart to the sternum. We don't learn too much about these visceral ligaments, but they could be what's causing or eliciting these symptoms. So he felt great. We know when I'm doing that type of approach, it's quite grounded in anatomy, and in terms of like physiological structural approach, it made an influence, quite an impact, I would say. And I'll follow up with them, obviously, but it's only a couple of days. An impact right away. So we know there's a anatomical contribution to whatever his experience of his symptoms is. So no, he was not dying of a heart attack. But also no, he's not fine. He's getting noxious stimuli. There's sensors in all your organs and everything saying something's amiss. Either the organ is out of place, or it's not moving properly, or something. The ligament is tight or whatever. It doesn't mean you're dying, but it also means there is something there. So there's a space between there's nothing wrong with you and you're having a heart attack. And I'm wondering if you're listening to this and you're wondering if you've been, invalidated or dismissed as having nothing wrong with you. I wonder if this kind of perspective might be helpful for you, to understand that, yeah, you're not dying of something, but it's also, you're not making shit up, and you have a valid concern. And my hope is that you find someone who can adopt the right perspective, listen to you, and hopefully get you closer to where you want to be. Okay. Thank you so much for listening. And that's it for me. Catch you next week. Bye-bye.